What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. In this video I'm going to look at the case of Lee Rodarte. Now, Lee Rodarte and the victim, Savannah Gold, were both from Jacksonville, Florida, and they both worked at the Bonefish Grill, a casual dining restaurant. Now, they had a relationship of sorts, which was against company policy because Lee was a manager and Savannah was an employee. And Lee also had another romantic interest called Chelsea. Now, clearly you can see this may have caused some issues. And Lee, according to Lee, Lee didn't want to see Savannah anymore. So Savannah was apparently telling people at work that they had a relationship which, according to Lee, this was jeopardizing his job. So Lee, knowing when Savannah's next shift was, he turned up in the parking lot or car park, depending on what you call it. He turned up and Savannah and Lee ended up in Lee's car. Now, Lee, according to him, or basically, long story, basically what happened was they were in the car and the car drove off and Savannah didn't get out of the car. So Savannah got into Lee's car and Savannah didn't get out of Lee's car, and Lee, I think you could be seen getting out once and he got back in, but the car drove off with Lee and Savannah in the car. Now, after this, Savannah's family received text messages that didn't sound like Savannah, but they were supposed to believe it was Savannah, and it was Savannah saying she's running off with a guy. Savannah's family tried to call Savannah and the phone didn't pick up, so Savannah's family called the police and filed a missing persons report. Now, the police went to Savannah's place of work and they asked questions, and one of the people that they questioned was Lee, and they asked Lee when the last time he saw Savannah was, and he said roughly 3 weeks ago. So the police had the CCTV. They found the CCTV of Savannah leaving in Lee's car, and they saw the car, silver Chevy Malibu, and they knew that that was Lee's car, or they highly suspected that was Lee's car. So Lee became the prime suspect in that case because they matched the car on the CCTV to Lee and the car he said that he had. So the police knew that Lee was the prime suspect, but they didn't want to spook him. So they didn't want to release the CCTV to the public because that could allow Lee to come up with a story. So what the police did is they arrested Lee midway through his shift, and they arrested him on an outstanding traffic warrant. And they took him to the police station and they made him wait quite a long time, about 90 minutes before they started to interview him, which could cause fatigue. Now, the police, 2 detectives entered the room, 1 male, 1 female, and their approach was, at first, as detectives often do, they were being very non-confrontational, and they were basically just collecting information, gathering pretext. So they allowed Lee to tell his story, or his version of events. And Lee, obviously before, he said he hadn't seen Savannah in a few weeks. But he amended that, probably because he knew the police had something on him, or there was a reason why he was there.
And then when was the last time you saw her?
This is what I was a bit... I didn't tell you the truth when we talked at Bonefish.
Okay.
Last time I saw her was Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
So he then changed his story to 3 weeks, not seeing her for around 3 weeks, to him seeing her on the day she went missing, on the 2nd of August 2017. So he's now amended his story. Now, there's the fact that he amended his story, but the police, they wanted to lock him into a lie. They wanted to hear his version of events, and they wanted to try and get him to be inconsistent with the evidence. So that's why they didn't go in there and confront him. They let him tell his story so they could review his story, review the evidence, and if they could catch him out on a lie, then they would. And sure enough, he lied. He lied. He said that he admitted that he saw Savannah on the day she went missing. He admitted that he went to the parking lot and he spoke to Savannah and they were both in his car. But the lie that he told was that she got out the car. She got out his car and got into a green truck and the green truck drove off. That's the lie he told that really messed things up for him, because the police had the CCTV footage of him driving off with Savannah in the car. So that was his big mistake. And detectives let him continue to tell his story, being quite non-confrontational, and then the detective dropped the line. So where's Savannah right now? And that was essentially a passive-aggressive accusation. That was them saying to him, what have you done to her?
Do they drive out over here? Do they stop? Does she get out and go into work? Does the truck keep going?
I didn't see once they turned the corner past the ATM.
Mm-hmm.
Once she got in and they left, I left.
You
because
left.
I just...
Did you run into them on the road anywhere?
No.
Okay. Did she call you later on or text you later on?
Savannah, no.
Mm-hmm. No other contact with her?
No.
So where's Savannah right now?
I don't know.
Where would I find her?
I don't know.
And at that point, the confrontation began. This is where the police turned up the pressure in the investigation. Now remember, he waited 90 minutes before being seen. He spent a lot of time talking. They let him talk. And they were gradually ramping up the pressure, but now the pressure began. They were saying, where is Savannah? And then the female detective then becomes more prominent in the investigation, because before she took more of a passive stance, and it was mainly the male detective. But this time the female detective starts to interject a lot more. And she plays the role of a desperate person who's highly emotional, and she starts begging him and pleading with him to ask where Savannah is. Whereas the detective, the male detective, plays the role of the more cerebral character. And this is deliberate, because if you got one cerebral person there and then you got one emotional person there, this can cause mental disorientation within a suspect, because the brain is trying to cognitively process two polar opposite energies, which can cause mental fatigue, because it's almost like going from one extreme to the next. It's disorientating for the human mind.
I told you the last time I saw her.
But that's not true, because we have proof. We have proof. And that's why we're sitting here, Lee. At this point, we need this for her. I mean, I look at that little girl and I think of my little girl. My little girl who's her age. That's who I think about. If that was my little girl, I couldn't imagine. I don't care what she said about you or whatever, but my little girl is that age.
Maybe
and you're not telling the truth.
Maybe something gets out of hand in the car.
I didn't do anything.
Okay, you didn't do anything, but she was in your car. She never got out of your car. She never got out of your car, Lee.
We're not saying that you did anything. I'm trying to find her. I didn't say you did anything.
I don't know where she is.
Well, we can prove that you left with her in the car. So please, do everybody a favor and just tell us.
Where is she?
So you got one detective, the male detective, calmly saying, where is she? You know, where is Savannah? Then you got the female detective on the other side going, please, 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 I'm begging you. And with a consistent a pressure applied, this can induce mental fatigue within a suspect, gradually changing the mental process in his mind and breaking him down. And this is what the detectives did.
We're just fact finders.
Tell us
We're
what
just
happened.
doing
Where
our
is she?
job. No, no, no. Where did you go with her? Where did you go with her, Lee? Be human. You're a human. You're a man. Where did you go with her? I know you're not that cruel inside. Seriously. Where did you go with her?
Maybe you
Please.
maybe you don't know where she is now. Where did you go with her?
Please. I'm begging you, Lee. Please.
They used a variety of techniques along the way. They tried to lower the admission of guilt. They were trying to say, you know, Savannah, because Savannah apparently used drugs, so the male detective was playing into that and saying, you know, did she overdose? Trying to give him different alternative theories of how it happened, because right now Lee was pleading his innocence, so they were just trying to get him to admit to something. They weren't trying to outright say, did you kill her? They were saying, where did you go with her? Or did she overdose on drugs, or did something else happen? They just wanted him to admit to something, which is, you know, so they could have one foot in the door, and then after that they can build on getting him to admit to even more, which detectives often do. But eventually they got Lee to do a full change with regards to what he was saying. He fully changed what he was saying, and, you know, he did a full 180, and he then admitted that he did indeed kill her. He admitted that he did indeed kill her, but it was an accident. And at that point, the police have at least some of what they need. They're after a full confession. But he admitted to killing her. And this was due to the mental fatigue, this was due to the pressure of the detectives. And he admitted, he says that, you know, a physical confrontation ensued and he accidentally killed her. And he claimed it was self-defense. Now, from that point onwards, he has at least partly admitted, you know, he's admitted to killing her. So he's no longer going home. And what you see after this is very interesting with regards to analysis of human behavior, because they leave him in the interrogation room for a long time before he goes to jail to get processed. And you can see that he knows on a subconscious level that his life is never going to be the same, because he goes through a breakdown and he starts saying stuff like, this isn't meant to be you, or like, why are you here? You were supposed to be going places. And this to me signifies that his subconscious mind understands that things are never going to be the same again.
Fucking idiot, Lee. Fucking stupid. You here? It's so stupid. Oh, fucking. Oh, no. So sorry. killed in jail. Shit. I'm nice to you. For somebody who was a bitch to you. Does that make any sense? It's time to get the wear chef coat. Not supposed to be you. This is not supposed to be you, Lee. It's supposed to make something of your fucking life. Everything. Going places, man. Your fucking head.
I believe that a lot of those thoughts are the inner depths of his subconscious mind processing the events that have just happened, which goes into an interesting subject within itself, because why did Lee lie when he entered the police station? Is it because, you know, point blank, the reason he lied when he got to the police station, the reason he never admitted to killing her was because he wanted to get away with it? How much of that is due to the preservation mode of his subconscious? Because when, you know, we don't always appreciate things as human beings until they're under threat. So little things like you can go for a walk, you can drive your car to where you're going to, you can meet up with your friend, you can meet up with your girlfriend, you can order whatever food you want online, you know, you can walk the dog. And we don't always appreciate these things. We should, but we don't. And it's only when these things come under threat that we truly start to appreciate them. And I believe that the subconscious mind then does what it can to try and preserve. So when Lee's in the police station, consciously or subconsciously or both, he understands that his life as he knows it, his job, his earnings, his future prospects is all under threat. And because of that, that's why he's lying in the station. And then when it all comes crashing down because he knows he's going to prison, his subconscious mind overpowers his conscious mind, and he truly starts to, you see the subconscious processing that he knows he's never going to live the life that he thought he was going to live, and life as he knows it has changed and not for the better. But there's also something else that's interesting here, or something that I want to explore. Now, Savannah is the victim in this case. Let's not forget that. She lost her life. She is the victim in this case, and her family, and those that know her. I'm saying, and I don't know this for certain, Lee might be, because people always like to tarnish someone who's killed someone or gets sent down. I don't know if Lee is actually genuinely sorry. I think there's a chance he is. He says it when he's left alone in the interrogation room. He says, "I'm so sorry," or something like that. But something tells me he might genuinely be sorry for what's happened. I don't know. Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe I've got it wrong. And it could be that it was an accident. I don't know. You know, unless you were there, you don't know. If it was an accident, you know, he should have admitted it straight away. Again, you know, subconscious mind entering preservation mode. But it might not have been an accident. This is just me thinking it could have been an accident just because of the way he's coming across. And you don't know. It can happen to people. It can happen. You can be in a struggle. Something could happen. You know. And people, you know, he reacted the wrong way. But I'm saying that people don't know how they're going to react to certain situations sometimes unless they're in that situation. But I just wanted to briefly mention that. You know, I don't know. I think there could be a possibility that, one, it was an accident, and two, he might genuinely be sorry. But that doesn't excuse, if it was an accident, the way he went about it, because he tried to dispose of Savannah's body. And had he not done that, if it was an accident and he called the police straight away, it would have worked out, you know, a lot better for him with regards to punishment. But none of it changes the fact that Savannah is now gone. And that is the saddest part of it all. So Lee went to jail and he tried to say it was self-defense, but he took a plea deal in the end and he ended up getting sentenced to 40 years in prison. And he got credit for time served, so it'll be a little bit less than that. But this case is very sad, because when I look at this case, I see someone dying over, you know, a trivial matter. You know, if Lee was to lose his job because he was seeing Savannah, that's inconvenient. What happened to Savannah is tragic. Someone losing their job is trivial in comparison. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it's financially damaging. But Lee was in his 20s. He can recover from that. Savannah cannot recover from this. So I see someone dying over something that's very avoidable. You know, if it was due to Lee's job, if it was due to the fact that Lee wanted to be with Chelsea, it didn't have to end like that. So I find this situation a situation that could have been avoided. And I find it a very, very sad situation. Because Savannah's now dead. The family have to deal with that. And not only that, but Lee, you know, that is a human being whose future is now, his life is forever changed. And it didn't need to happen like that. It didn't need to happen. So that is my video for today. To make sure that this video can reach as many people as possible, and my channel can reach as many people as possible, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video, and I'll see you on the next video.